Good. Just trying to keep up with it. Obviously, it's a lot different time of year than it was last time we came, and so try to get everything right. And then got the truck over there running, so got plenty going on, and just trying to make the most of this weekend.
We'll take questions for Brad. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. You too. Bob.
Bob Pockers from the Sporting News. Can you kind of give us an update on these fuel pickup issues that you've been having? I mean, any idea if they have been solved? And I mean, would you guys? I mean, yeah,
just talk about fuel injection.
Well, I mean, is it?
What do you want to know?
Is it fuel injection, or is there something in there? Is it?
Well, I mean, it's that system. I guess you can word it however you want, but yeah, I mean, we obviously have had troubles, and that's not good. And we're working on it, and the only way to know when you have the answer or not is when you get to the end of the race. Is it running or not running? And that's the answer. I would say at Texas we did not have the answer. So we can do all the testing we want. Everybody at Penske Racing has been doing that, and sometimes you feel like you found something, sometimes you don't. But obviously at the end of the day, we didn't have it right at Texas.
Go ahead and follow up, Bob.
I mean, do you know, like, is it a mechanical? Is it something like with the actual parts and pieces that you guys are trying to use, or is it maybe?
I think so. Obviously mechanically it's stopping, so it stops running, and it's not a simple process to get it back going. It requires changing parts. So, I'm assuming that's the case, just based on the changes that we have to make to get it right after it fails.
Questions, David?
David Caravello, NASCAR.com. Brad, when you guys were trying to get yourself out of that points hole last spring, when was the real moment when you realized, okay, we can do this at a very high level? Was it Darlington? Was it the pole at Charlotte? Or did it take winning here before you guys realized? Okay.
No, I would say it took all the way to Pocono to where I really felt like we were going the right direction. And we had made changes before that I felt good about, but I'm the type of guy that wants to see it, not just believe it. I want to see it. So Pocono kind of gave me personally that belief. I believe I can win every weekend, any weekend. You have to be a good race car driver. It's just a matter of what your odds are, and I would have put my odds have not been very good, so or not being very good. So I would put my odds certainly a lot higher this year than I did last spring when we came here to Kansas.
Next question from David, then we'll take one from Nate.
David Newton, ESPN.com. Can you talk about everybody's been commenting on the track changes coming up after this race? You sad to see it go? I mean, it almost sounds like a death in the family coming for a lot of guys.
A death in the family? Well, I don't know if it's that extreme, but no, I mean, I was running and thinking about it for sure. I was out there on the racetrack. I got a really good feel for what I want out of my car at this track, and I'm really happy about that, and really sad to see that go away because it's so hard to get that feel. Some racetracks you'll go to your whole career and never figure out what you need to run well at. And here's one of those tracks where I feel like I knew from day one what I needed to run well at or run well with. And it's a shame to lose that because you don't always get that very easily. But then there's other places like Phoenix. I really didn't get the old Phoenix. I feel like I'm a lot more competitive at the new Phoenix, and so I'm sure there's other drivers saying the same thing or feeling the same way that I do about seeing Kansas change. So, at the end, it's fair for everyone. It's the right thing to do for the sport to make sure, we don't have a track that falls apart in the middle of the race. And so I can understand the methodology behind it, but that's racing.
Go ahead, Nate.
I think it can. It has the potential. I don't think it has to. I think it's a bad mindset to say that every repave is going to kill the racing. No, I don't agree with that. I think it has the potential if it's not done right. Basically, you're redoing something, and anytime you redo something, you have a potential to screw it up. I mean, it's like doing your hair in the morning. You do it the first time, you do it right, then you redo it, you have the potential to screw it up. And it's no different with the racetrack. And the potential is here to screw it up. The potential is at any track when they repave it. So it depends on what process, they use. I spoke very highly of Michigan when we went there and did the tire test because they used a different process than a lot of these tracks have over the repaves of the last, I would say half decade. And I think that race is going to be much more competitive than any of the other races from tracks that have come right off a repave. And so I think we're all interested to see if they use some of those same processes here at Kansas. And then it has the potential to come back and not just be an equal race to what we see, but even better. Now, will that happen? Who knows? We won't know until we get here and race. But there's always that potential. And I think the key thing is to approach it the right way as an opportunity, not as a definite negative effect.
Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Newt kind of took mine, Brad, but maybe to follow up a little bit more on it and take it in a different direction. It's been the hot button issue all day today, and Jeff Gordon went so far as to say that he understands the reasons he's been given for why they're paving it, but he still doesn't understand why they are because it's in such good shape. As he said, it was awesome. I know you get why they're paving it. They don't want another pothole, but is it almost worth the trade-off of? There's no guarantee that they pave it and things are going to be better and everything. But there's no guarantee that if they don't pave it, there's going to be a pothole. Is it almost worth kind of pushing the envelope?
Is it worth the risk?
Yeah.
I think you should have asked Jeff if he thought it was worth the risk at Martinsville that year where that chunk came through and cost him the race. I think then he'd probably answer a little differently.
So you don't see any way that they justify not doing it with this issue?
Yeah, if the risk is you have another incident like we had at Daytona or another incident like we had at Martinsville years back with Jeff, I don't think that's worth it. That's my opinion, but certainly there's other opinions out there.
Okay. We'll take one from Bob, then go back to Scott.
There have been about 20 fewer cautions this year because of wrecks and stalled cars on the track. Any thoughts on why that
Fewer?
is? 20 fewer, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys playing nicer? Is it just getting strung out? Just can't get close enough to wreck, or what?
No, aerodynamics are taking over the sport, and we can't get close enough to each other to wreck each other. That's the reality of it, When you can't get close to someone because of the aerodynamic effects of the handling of the cars, the potential to wreck is a lot less, no matter what the situation is, no matter if you're angry or happy. You can't get there to do anything. I think the aerodynamic effects in the cars have ramped up over the last 2 or 3 years, as they always do as the sport's evolved, and that's why you're seeing that.
Final 2 questions. We'll go to Scott, then up to Jordan.
Brad, Scott Traylor, Sports Radio 810 WHB, Racing Boys Radio. First of all, the track, I got to step back on it. The seams seem to be getting wider out there today in practice. Do you notice that? It's a little cooler today, so it's not as bad.
Sure. The seams, you mean like?
Yeah, between the lines or where they laid the pavement down, those black seams. That's what most people complain about when they talk
Sure.
about the track at Kansas Speedway.
Yep.
Do you find that as an issue as a driver? And if you will follow up, you were 15th on the sheet today with your truck. Can you explain why the speed was down a little bit on that? But talk about those seams first, if you would.
Well, I'll answer the second one first, and that's because we didn't do any qualifying runs. And then on the other situation, the seams are an issue when the track gets really, really hot, and it makes the cars handle terribly. And it makes you have to drive the car, and it rewards those who drive the car in a more talented fashion. So I don't know if I would necessarily say that's a bad thing. But it certainly can be very frustrating when you're trying to make a pass and you cross one and you slow down 2 or 3 tenths. So that can be frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's the same for everyone. And I would prefer it didn't have them, but it does, and we'll just work around it.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Brad, so far your season, you've had speed in just about every race so far this year, but the consistency hasn't been there on a week-to-week basis. What do you guys need to do to get to that level where you guys, week in, week out, are finishing in the top 10?
Sure. Well, I think I actually disagree. I think we've had consistency in speed. We just haven't had consistency in finishes. And we've had 3 bad finishes, in my opinion, and 2 of them, were from failures of parts, and the third one was getting caught at the big one at Daytona. So, I I'm not concerned about anything other than the failures, and the rest will work its way out. I feel like, and I was telling my kids at this the other day, I feel like I've raced side by side with Matt in every race this year, and if we simply wouldn't have had those two gremlins at Vegas and Texas, I feel like that's where we would be. Would be second or third in points. So, I don't feel bad about our efforts. We just got to get rid of those gremlins, and we're a team that has the ability to win races and run for a championship.